Welcome to Author Transformation Stories. This is Som Bathla, author of 22 books at Amazon and founder of Author Freedom Hub, a community of aspiring authors. And in this Author Transformation Stories channel, we interview people in our community who write the book, publish the book, and see some kind of breakthroughs in their journey. So today we have with us Mandira Mazumder from Kolkata. Hi, Mandira, how are you?
Hello, sir. Good evening. I'm
Yeah,
fine. I hope you're
wonderful.
keeping.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Mandira is from Kolkata. She's a teacher by profession. From last 25 years, she's teaching in schools and universities, and she's now an entrepreneur and doing her own coaching center tutorials. And she came to my community in the month of July 2020, and she was able to publish her book, first book, October 2020. Yes. And if you're first time coming to this channel, I request you to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that you could get all the future notification in your email box. Yes. So let me quickly show you Mandira's book first, and then I will take it from there. Yes. The book name is Even Caged Birds Sing When Songs of Freedom Transcend Social Tyranny. Wonderful. Welcome, Mandira, to the show. And let's start with the first question. Actually, I'll start the intro with your basic background as to how did you, where did you, your bringing up and your education, and then how you ultimately ended up writing a book. Please, over to you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir.
Hmm,
I was brought up in Jamshedpur, in
mhm,
the steel city,
hmm,
where both my parents were corporate people. They were working in high profile job.
right.
But then I was a girl who was interested in everything, and I was in a Christian school, missionary school.
Hmm,
And then it was curiosity that took me to different places. Even I
hmm.
would run away from school and to see, like that boy in Tare Zameen Pe.
Oh.
I used to run away from school and I
Hmm,
used to observe. I used to go to the bazaar, observe, and I would enjoy the flavor. I will
hmm,
absorb the people's energy.
hmm,
And, I love to enjoy myself,
hmm.
being with myself. I went
Wonderful.
into the woods and went to the tops
Okay.
and I would read books. So sometimes I would skip school in order
Hmm,
to
hmm,
find myself and
hmm.
find my surroundings. So this was my background.
What
And
age were you at that point of time when you ran out of school?
I was 8, 9 years
Oh.
old. And,
Naughty.
yeah, and I was
One.
when it was Bangladesh war. I was 6 years old.
Uh,
And I was at that time, I was listening to the news keenly, and I was very much interested in the war.
mhm,
I was interested in the emergency clamped on people by Mrs. Gandhi. I
mhm.
was interested in Ravi Shankar. I was interested in Paul Sinatra. I was interested in uh, Hindi, Bengali, and English literature. And right
Oh.
from 9 years old, I started reading prolifically. And
Hmm.
I love maths and English most.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah. And then thereafter, I started writing diaries, and I was an avid reader.
Hmm.
And as I told you, whatever I observed, I used to write in the diaries, and those were published in my school magazines.
Hmm.
And I remember later on in my college magazines. So
Hmm.
I had a penchant for writing right from my child. And
Yes. Yes. Yes.
it
Yes.
was in my blood, maybe.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So let's talk about your, career a bit, and then how ultimately, like, you published your first book in the month of October 2020. It's a long journey. Like you were thinking of writing some. You're writing all. You're writing
All
for a
along.
long time,
All
but
along.
ultimately the book came in October 2020 recently. So talk about that journey. Like, you are going through the normal career, then you're teaching, then your own tutorials, and how this book popped up. Please talk about that.
I'm coming to the point. I'm just giving you a brief. Like my books, my articles and short stories and the snapshots of my memoirs used to be published in Ezine.com in
Yes.
2013. From the time my daughter left for a job, I was left all alone. I started writing, but I had no clue. I had the dream to make a book, but
Hmm.
I had no clue how to make a book. I
Right.
did not know which publishers to go, and I
Hmm.
did not know what. And I'm a freedom loving person.
Hmm.
So I left my job and started writing and started running my own tutorial.
Hmm.
But I wanted to be free. And maybe when I saw during the pandemic, it was a pressure period. The world went topsy-turvy. The world went, the center could not hold and things fell apart. Such things happened during the
Hmm.
pandemic.
Hmm.
And my daughter was far away. My husband was there beside me. Of course, he's always there. But then in the pandemic, I was searching for, to find an outlet for my
Hmm.
writing that has been, for many days, something was popping up in my mind, and that forbidden love, that plot of forbidden love, and there are many other plots we were popping up in my mind.
Hmm.
And I started writing, but I did not know or had no clue what to do with my writing.
Hmm.
My writing was almost, I started writing different things.
Hmm.
But then when one fine day, I came to know some Bathla. I came to know on the Facebook
Hmm.
and his Faith Society.
Hmm.
And the moment I heard you, it was very inspirational. It was terribly inspirational, and it was so much enlightening. And what I found is that I found a package for my freedom. You were offering a package
Hmm.
for my
Hmm.
freedom,
Hmm.
and I resonated somehow.
Hmm.
I resonated, and later on when I did your first webinar,
Hmm.
I thought I would join and see that
Hmm.
he's offering me this. I mean, I found that there is a clarity in that journey.
Hmm.
There was a clarity, and there was an exceptional clarity, and not only that, this person has an organizational skill. I
Hmm.
understood.
Hmm.
And I understood that you are giving something which will enable us to overcome certain intimidating forces that comes in the journey, into the
Hmm.
journey.
Right.
And while I started my journey after being inspired by you, and when I started my journey, I decided I'll write my own book and I'll be an entrepreneur. I'll be an entrepreneur. So that
Wonderful.
was the main thing. I'll be free.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And I was
So, yeah, wonderful. Great journey. And now let's talk about your book, Even Caged Birds Sing. What
yeah.
exactly is this book about, and why did you precisely why did you choose to write about this stuff? Tell about that.
Because when I was when I was a child, I
Hmm.
felt like a cage bird. Because
Hmm.
although my parents provided me with everything, I'm not being ungrateful to them.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I felt that there was a difference between the upbringing of my brother and me.
Hmm.
I felt that as long as I did good results, I had bright academic performance.
Hmm.
They praised me.
Hmm.
As long as I looked smart and I communicated smartly, they
Hmm.
liked me.
Hmm.
But the moment I had some idea or view of my own,
Hmm.
I was a girl with a view of my own, not arrogant, but a
Hmm.
view, but ideas of my own.
Hmm.
And I saw the society around me, and even my parents, even
Hmm.
my dad, they did not like a woman to have her view. And a
Hmm.
woman with a view is like a dangerous thing. So
Hmm.
that way. I have been a caged bird, and I was married at the age of 20 because my mother
Hmm.
was died of cancer.
Hmm. Hmm.
So even then, I felt like a caged bird
Hmm.
because I had no outlet for everything that I wanted. My media, my dream to be an investigative journalist,
Hmm.
my dream to be a communicator, everything was lost. I thought after marriage,
Hmm.
nothing got lost. Everything
Hmm.
can be found if you have the determination. I did
Hmm.
my graduation in
Hmm.
India, but yeah,
Hmm.
I became a teacher.
Hmm.
My trajectory, my life trajectory was such that I became a teacher. But then the writing was always at the background of my mind.
Hmm.
I will write one day. I
Hmm.
will write. No one can stop it. They could stop my singing. Yeah,
Hmm.
I was a good singer. They stopped my singing, but they could not stop my writing. That is what I said. You cannot stop my writing. So I used to write secretly,
Hmm.
and some of them were published in Times of India. And then after 2013, the journey started. And by the grace of God, in 2020, during the pandemic, who thought that my book will be published?
Yes. Wonderful. So even caged birds means you are
Even cage
precisely.
birds, in metaphorically,
Hmm.
caged birds is a metaphor
Hmm.
that for womankind, I would say humankind. I'm
Okay.
not talking like a feminist, I'm talking
Hmm.
like a humanist.
Hmm.
Even caged birds, I
Hmm.
belong to a period of 80s and 90s.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Days were 90s.
Hmm.
My school days were 80s.
Hmm.
So I think that even those caged birds, because nowadays girls are more free, I think.
Hmm.
Not
Correct.
all girls, not
Hmm.
rural girls, I'm talking about them. I
Hmm.
think they are more free to express their opinion. I think they are being sent for medical, they are being sent for CA. I mean,
Hmm.
they are becoming CEOs. I mean,
Right.
many professions are open to them. But
Right.
during our time, we were caged birds. But
Hmm.
even caged birds, they
Hmm.
could sing of their freedom, and they
Hmm.
could choose to be free if they want. That is the metaphor. And moreover,
Wonderful.
I wrote that American. I read about that American poet when I was a child, and I found her childhood somewhat similar to me. Although she was abused, I was not abused. Definitely,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
I was a very. But she
Wonderful.
wrote that I know why the cage birds sing.
Hmm. Hmm.
She
Hmm.
found
Wonderful.
that outlet. So I somehow similarly resonated with her.
Hmm.
I found some similarity. So that
Hmm.
was my inspiration to the woman that even caged
Great. So you have like three stories in this book. So could you just give some example of what kind of cage birds are covered in this particular book? What kind of, so that read watchers of this video could understand exactly what kind of flavor they will get in the book?
Yeah, what kind of flavor they will get in the book? The first one is A Forbidden Love. It is about a woman of the 80s.
Hmm.
After 24 years of her married life, she was socially married. She
Hmm.
experiences that she could not contain herself because there was something wanting to tell. She
Hmm.
wanted to self-actualize. She
Okay.
wanted self-actualization. She
Hmm.
wanted, but she could not find an outlet. Only bringing up a bonny child and
Hmm.
being very affluent does
Hmm.
not make her life. So
Right.
she was a good singer and she became, and she
Hmm.
was a trained singer.
Hmm.
So Pooja ji became a singer in her own right. But
Hmm.
then she was falling into depression at what point of time
Hmm.
a man came in his life,
Hmm.
and she found fulfillment in love.
Hmm.
And it was then the society was all against her. That why
Yes.
should she find love at this age? I mean,
Hmm.
she cannot find love at this age. She found her individuality. At the same time, she found her love. I mean, both. And she now my first book tells how she faces the challenge when
Hmm.
she has a grown up daughter, when she has a husband of 25, 4 years.
Hmm.
I mean, the husband was not a bad man at all, but I mean, but a person can fall in love later on, and
Hmm.
then she falls in love and she finds an outlet and she finds her soulmate in someone. That is
Hmm.
the first book about, and what will happen to
Hmm.
her after that? How will she face the challenge?
Hmm.
She faced the challenge of becoming a singer. She
Okay.
became a singer
Hmm.
and a celebrity singer.
Hmm.
But then she faces the challenge of her personal life and how she will face the challenge with dignity and honor.
Hmm. Hmm.
Second
Hmm.
book is Glimpse from My Home.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, don't disclose all so that people people let people buy the book and read the book.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
wonderful. So no, now see, only a few people come out of the caged bird syndrome and then really live their life. So can you just talk about, like, because you have experienced that in your life and you have mentioned the stories in the story format. Tell the people who feel like they are some kind of caged birds, what kind of thing they should do so that they could come out and sing and express themselves, some message to the people, like what should they do?
what should they do? See, it's they should first of all, it's a thing about self exploration. They should
Mm,
find out
mm,
what they want to do.
right.
It's finding the ikigai.
Ah, correct.
It is finding the ikigai. What actually they want to do with their life,
Mm,
and what should they be? They should keep trying. Nothing comes without hard work.
mm,
You should burn the midnight lamp.
mm,
So they should come out of that caged birds stage. First of all, the courage should be built up, willpower. That
correct.
should be built up. That could be built up in different ways, through meditation and through different ways by coming through communication with people. Like
Mm,
there are many students I have, they communicate with me when they have lack of self-confidence, they can communicate with you.
mm,
I mean, that is what I can tell you. Yeah, they will find confidence. If they,
wonderful.
if they feel that I cannot be a writer, let them talk to Som Bathla. Let
Yes, yes,
them talk to Som Bathla. They will feel that
yes. very rightly. Self-exploration is very, very important because you should understand what exactly resonate with you. And then, coming out with from the clutches of society is something which is very difficult for most people and it requires courage. You have to take baby steps, but you can come out if you keep taking steps. Wonderful.
The leap of faith must be. It's first
Yes,
step. You should take the leap of faith and then
correct.
see what happens, what destiny brings to you.
Absolutely, yes. Believe in yourself and have faith in God because unfolding of things can get better results for you,
But
right?
work in a methodical way.
Sorry.
Work in a methodical way, not in an impulsive
Yeah,
way.
obviously, yes.
Very methodical.
Yes, yes, yes. So now let's talk about a little bit. You are a born writer. You were like kind of writing from the age of 8 years, and a lot of writing you're doing. You have a English degree and all these teachings you're doing already. So writing is not a challenge for you. But now let's talk about publishing. You were saying that publishing, you never knew about that stuff. So it's
No,
the first book you published. So now let's talk about the experience of because whenever you do something for the first time, there are some kind of challenges happen. So joined in July 2020, published yourself in 2020 October. So what was that journey? What kind of challenges came in between, and how did you manage them? And what is your message coming out for that handling of that challenge?
I did not know how to publish a book. And
Hmm.
I got the idea from the videos that I found. And they
Hmm.
gave me a very clear idea,
Hmm.
step by step, how to do it.
Hmm.
The very methodical manner.
Hmm.
So, first of all, writing is not a problem for me. Anything, fiction,
Hmm.
non-fiction,
Hmm.
not a problem for me.
Hmm.
And editing, I found, I would say one thing. For non-fiction writers, I think uh, you you have given a very good platform. I mean,
Hmm.
it's a really good platform for non-fiction writers. You can
Hmm.
find, but for fiction writers, particularly for me, it became very challenging because fiction is very nuanced and fiction is very, and because I chose literary fiction, not
Hmm.
thriller or anything. I
Hmm.
mean, very literary, it's a literary fiction.
Hmm.
And they're choosing to probe into human mind,
Hmm.
particularly the Indian woman's mind.
Hmm.
But when I give someone for editing, I find that they can edit my language.
Hmm.
How can they edit the nuances and
Hmm.
how can they feel like an Indian woman can feel?
Hmm. Hmm.
I self-edited my book. I
Hmm.
edited my book myself. I was
Hmm.
terribly, I mean, so I edited my book and it was a challenge for
Hmm.
me. That was the first time I'm editing my book.
Hmm.
Completely I edited. And
Okay.
I edited my book. That was a challenge. And then cover designing and all, it was like a thrill to me because cover designing, I have idea. The idea is mine, but
Hmm.
I did not know how to manifest the idea.
Hmm. Hmm.
Gave me that idea. I mean, how to manifest, and I took the help. Definitely,
Hmm.
they manifested
Can you
whatever.
show the book you have in your hand so that people
Yeah,
could
this
see the
is the cover
cover once
design.
again? Yeah, let's
Yeah,
see. This design is like maybe a little bit up. Yes. So this is like a woman standing in the balcony looking at the sky, birds. Wonderful. So
yeah.
this theme was conceptualized by you, and then you told designer to make it.
Designer to make it, but I'll tell you, the real challenge was formatting
Hmm.
because I told you, I'm a technically challenged person.
Hmm.
And then it was a real challenge. So I took help of students. Right? I listened to your video and then I took help of my students. And anyhow, it was formatted.
Yeah.
But one thing,
Wonderful.
I'm a damn squib and I'm a failure and flop is marketing and launching.
Hmm.
Despite all ideas, I could not translate them into practice. But still, I was surprised that I got good reviews
Hmm.
and I was surprised that many people bought that book and
Hmm.
many people liked it. And even I do not know many people who liked it. And I got reviews from USA,
Hmm.
but I could not launch and market it properly
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
because I'm not a marketing person.
Okay,
That's
so
why,
you said that you are not you're a technically challenged person, but you handled all the technicalities and published the book yourself. Correct?
yeah, I can do it now.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
I learned it. I
Yes.
learned
Yes.
it on my way, but marketing I have not. I mean, marketing and
And you will
launch.
learn. You will learn, right?
Yeah, I will learn. Why
Yes.
not? I will learn because I need to sell my book also.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, of course. And any author, if he is writing the book, it's a literary satisfaction. But unless and until the message is going out to the world, then what's the use of writing? Correct?
Yeah. I want
Hmm.
to put across my ideas to the
Hmm.
people out there offshore and there.
Right.
So what is the? But yeah, many people read, and particularly the Indians read.
Hmm. So how
They
does
like
it feel? How does it feel like when you got the first review on your book?
I
What
feel
kind of feeling it came? Like just explain that feeling. Like that your book, your work is out in the world. Somebody is reading it, getting impacted, and writing about the book. So,
I felt empowered for the first time in that way.
mm,
I felt empowered. I felt I'm reaching out, and my song is reaching out,
mm,
and in a big way, and it is hitting the shores.
mm.
And it was an overwhelming experience. It was an experience which cannot be put into words. Perhaps if I write, I'll be able to write.
Yes, 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 yes. Wonderful.
It was something. I felt so empowered. That is the first thing
Great,
I felt.
great, great, great. Yes, wonderful. So now let's talk about. Who should be reading this particular book? Did you have somebody in your mind specifically that this kind of person will be reading this book? Any specific audience for which you wrote this book? Talk about that, so that watchers of this video should get some idea that I'm that kind of person. This book will be with me, or is it like a general book anybody can read?
My book is extremely entertaining. So
Hmm.
it can entertain. Yeah, it's like the person who liked it. I mean the screenplay writer who
Hmm.
liked my book.
Hmm.
She's a very passionate lady. Now
Hmm.
she said like you can make a film out of it. Forbidden Love. Oh my God.
Wonderful.
I really the scenes are so dramatic.
Hmm.
And she said it's so dramatic. At the same time, it is very subtle. एकदम बारीकियां हैं. And
Hmm.
she said बारीक character analysis,
Hmm.
evolution of the character. At the
Okay.
same time, you are showing such dramatic, and I was like floored. She said. So
Hmm.
my book can entertain any, cutting across gender, cutting across, and one. And let me tell you, there's a friend of mine, and she's Janet Graham. She's from Canada, and
Hmm.
she read my book, and she did. Oh my God, Mandira! I got a idea. Now I can understand why there is so much honor killing in Canada.
Hmm.
Yeah, she told me. I
Okay.
can now understand. Your book
Hmm.
gave me the perspective. She
Hmm.
liked it. There are people who liked it. There's a black American friend I have, David. He's a writer himself. He
Hmm.
told me, I really did not know all this about Indian society. It's so much like the black Americans. There are many things similar
Hmm.
to the black. So what? That means it can cut across any kind of society, cut across any kind of. I think a Muslim woman will also like this book.
Okay.
I think, but I wrote this book particularly. I think it will resonate with the woman.
Hmm.
I think it will be entertaining for the men as well. I mean, it is for everyone. It's a literary fiction. I told them,
Wonderful.
what kind of.
Wonderful.
I said, I
So
choose it.
entertaining book and empowering book for the people who read it. Empowering.
Entertaining, empowering, and it shows you the evolution of, and it shows and it's a very good. I'll tell you something. Please, let me say just one or two words. I'll just say
Sure.
like in Grapes of Wrath, and in if you read The Great Gatsby, you come to know about the American society of the 20s and the 30s. You cannot know about American society if you read history book.
Hmm.
You cannot know like that. You just have a chronological account of time 20s and 30s. But if you read the books of John Updike, if you read the feminist books, if you read, Aunt Jennifer's Tiger, if
Hmm.
you read the books of Grapes of Wrath, the kind of revelation of society that you get, the
Hmm.
kind of exposure of the society you get, the kind of exposure you get from my small book, humble book,
Hmm.
the kind of exposure of the 80s and the 90s. It is
Hmm.
the crossroad in a woman's in the journey of
Hmm.
all women. It is a crossroad.
Hmm.
I think 80s and 90s is a crossroad. After which in 2000 that it changed. The
Hmm.
trajectory changed. So I think it is historically important. I
Wonderful.
think it is historically important as in the when I talk about women's liberation in a very broad sense,
Hmm.
in a very broad way, in a woman's
Got it.
liberation
Wonderful.
in India.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I recommend everybody who is watching this video to check out the book, Even Caged Birds Sing, and you will be entertained, empowered, and yes, wonderful. So now, Mandira, before we wind up, just let's talk about your journey with AFH community. We have not only the courses, we have weekly sessions, we have a community of people. talk about your experience so that watchers who are interested in coming to the community, they can get some kind of glimpse and maybe they join the community by inspired by you.
Definitely. Yeah. And then I'll just tell you that my experience with you has been, I would say, amazing, and all those words. I will never say those words. I will say my experience with you has been very enlightening.
Hmm.
I've learned something from on a serious note, and I mean how to progress. What is what were at different stages that I told you, and
Hmm.
I really learned from you. And another thing is your way of presentation. It makes things lighter. I
Hmm.
mean, even serious issues are discussed in a lighter way so
Hmm.
that with time, people are able to understand. So that way, your classes have been worth attending.
Hmm.
And regarding the members, definitely, I'm so sorry that I cannot be active all the time. My life is a big, hectic one.
Hmm.
So I'm not always on the social media. But
Right.
whatever little, there are people like Vishal, there are people like Swapni Modi, there are
Hmm.
people like Maya Modi ji, there are
Hmm.
people who definitely encouraged me. And there is Banti Neeraja.
Hmm.
These are some of the people, they encouraged me, motivated me. And from Swapni Modi, I learned how the technical points. Many
Okay.
from
Okay.
Vishal, I got the encouragement about things. Yeah, just be.
Wonderful.
And so definitely there are people who, and I am also, if anyone asks me for help, I'm broad-minded enough to help that person.
Yes, 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 yes. As I keep on saying that this community is built on the pillars of collaboration and love. So that's why people here are really like helping each other. So
Each other.
that you saw.
It's a very
Wonderful.
healthy community. It's a very
Wonderful.
healthy community. But
Hmm.
sorry, I cannot be always on social media. I'm very sorry for that. But if
Yes.
anyone approaches me personally, that please tell me what to do with this, I'll definitely.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
It's not that I'm a person. I will help.
Great. So, Mandira, it was great to have you on the show. And now, everybody who's watching this, if you are somehow feeling that you have some book inside you, which everyone has, then I invite you to watch a training below this video, which will lead you to a pre-recorded training, which can help you to understand about my program. And if you feel like joining in, I welcome you to join it. And if you are someone who wants to get entertained, empowered, and look about the women empowerment, try out the book Even Caged Birds Sings by Mandira, and you'll be definitely getting a lot of value out of it. So now, before we part ways, Mandira, I wanted you to leave this session with a parting piece of advice to the watchers of this video. What is your advice to the watchers of this video so that they could learn from your life?
Please, from my own, with my own limited perspective, from my own limited perspective, I can talk. I don't know everything. It's not
Hmm.
possible for a human being to know
Right.
everything. But from my limited perspective, I think that as a teacher, that a good writer must also be a good reader. We must get into the habit of reading books, if
Hmm.
not books, magazines, if not internet, surf the net,
Hmm.
find out informations.
Hmm.
But this habit should be inculcated. And
Right.
secondly, I think that regular writing,
Hmm.
regularity, writing is it's a very joyful thing. Experience that. Make it
Correct.
very joyful. You won't find it hard then. Let it
Correct.
be free flowing, like the leaves come in a tree.
Hmm.
Let it be free flowing like that.
I can
Yeah,
feel the joy. I can feel the joy when you're saying these words.
you can feel. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel joy as well when you say words.
Hmm. Wonderful. Great, great, wonderful. It was a great talking to you, Mandira, and thank you so much for being here. And everybody, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that you could get all future interviews in your inbox. And with that, I end this session, and I'll come back again with some more author with his transformation, her transformation. Thank you so much.
Please teach us your entrepreneurial skill. This
Sure.
is the last note I'm leaving with. Teach us your entrepreneurial skill.
That's wonderful.